Good lord. It took 2 days to watch these 3 episodes. I literally fell asleep towards the end of episode 2. Why the hell are they so long? There isn't much actual story here. It's just more setup with very little payoff. Well, it must be Rings of Power time, and Hope has left the building. The funny thing is, I'm actually reading the books for the first time while watching Rings of Power. I've watched the Peter Jackson movies over and over, but I wanted to get into the crack of the lore and discern the differences between adaptations. I love fantasy because the world building to create new worlds, culture, and history is so fascinating to me. Well, unluckily, all the lore I've been consuming didn't amount to much with this show. Amazon just seems to gobble up all Tolkien's contributions, picks the bones clean, and shits out this expensive turd for the world. It's the worst example of modern IP mining. This is just content in its simplest form. They might have the names, places, and the events, but it's just a label, a husk of a good memory with meat puppets made to spout the writer's vacuous metaphors, empty platitudes, and lifetime movie dialogue.
Sauron used me, and under his hand I was played like a harp to a melody not of my choosing.
Poor Sauron. He is still so sour. It's amazing how quickly modern TV can turn a legendary villain into a sniveling twat that doesn't look like he could command a summer camp. Oh, this is his villain arc. I see. This is supposed to be the sympathetic Sauron. To see the ultimate big bad get easily outsmarted, Julius Caesar, and left as a mix of venom spunk and ass worms, he crawls around and becomes Halbrand. He comes to his metaphorical fork in the road. Luckily, the first person he meets is able to show him a better path by offering him what this show would consider wisdom.
A sure path may crumble, but there's always another.
Thank you. You smell like shit. It's also lucky he happens to have the very thing he can use to conceal his identity and gain favor back in season 1. He could have been saved if only Galadriel accepted him. Now they must face the wrath of the ultimate dark incel. And beware his secret weapon. He will use it to rule all of Middle-earth, turn every race against each other.
Race war!
And bind them to his will. What is that secret weapon? Compliments.
Oh, I see. It's the oldest tale there is, isn't it? The true creators toil till their knuckles bleed.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Good lord. Insecurity must be rampant in Amazon's Middle-earth because he runs the gambit, giving out compliments like herpes to win favor with everyone. He worms his way back into Celebrimbor's forge by appealing to his ego. Sauron takes the form of Annatar and through dramatic expression easily bamboozles Celebrimbor. He even got this dude lying to his king. Oh damn, these elves, these immortal beings that have lived through the ages are duped by mere flattery. These writers were never going to be able to write from multiple perspectives, from different cultures. That's one of the reasons, among others, they just amalgamated all these cultures to look like a modern city in America. There will be no plans within plans, no Machiavellian subtlety. This show wants to be like the early seasons of Game of Thrones, but they don't have the talent, intelligence, or the tits. The worst part is this is still the best plotline in this series. This is the top of the garbage heap, and it's all downhill from here. We catch up with Galadriel, and she is looking like she was rode hard and put up wet. It's actually the opposite of that, because she's still wondering if she can fix him. They had an opportunity to give Galadriel some depth. She brought the damn fox into the chicken coop. She couldn't even tell Celebrimbor who Halbrand was. She's the reason for all the events from here on out. If the writers were smart, they would really show her grapple with the gravity of her choices, build up her newfound insight, and how it actually affects her outlook. This show is diligent in its negligence. Let's skim over the hard part and just take the easiest path possible.
Sauron looked inside you and plucked the very song of your soul, note by note, making himself out to be exactly what you needed, the lost king who could ride you to victory. You gave him everything he wanted and then thanked him for it. And now he has done the same to Gil-galad and to every elf in Lindon.
Finally, somebody says something, but they can't really punish the girl boss. It's why girl bosses drag a story down. The writers don't seem to understand this version they have created. Galadriel is more upset that she was deceived over the consequences. She is the same person. She has learned nothing. Galadriel's ego was bruised, and now she must stop him at any cost possible. The writers can't let something silly like a character arc get in the way of the endless plotting, and by plotting, I mean people constantly talking in rooms and saying absolutely nothing. The Elf King's big plan to let Celebrimbor know the most important information in Middle-earth is to send a message. I can't completely blame him though, because he seems to be one step ahead of the Downs. It's coming for him. He seems to have beat it for now because he'll be a lot happier otherwise. But look at my rings. When the whole message plan goes nowhere, everyone continues just to lounge around for God knows how long. They finally get around to sending a team with Elrond leading and Galadriel in tow. At least something is happening. What else do we have? Oh, the dwarves. Well, the sun shafts collapse and they can't grow food or some shit. They can still leave, but they're stuck in a standstill until Doran and his father come to some kind of agreement. It's just constant melodrama to fill in time. Luckily, they have Disa to sing to it. I think this marriage was a mistake, homie.
Did you say steak?
They finally bring them into the fold 3 episodes in, finally some progression. What an interesting culture Amazon just lets go to waste. You can give them fat fingers, stick them in the ground, but they are just the same as everyone else. I think that's their point though. Oh shit, the Harfoots. Don't get me started with Nori and Proto Gandalf. They're still walking and talking, walking and talking, walking and talking. This is still the worst storyline in this show. Proto Gandalf uses his power to create a storm, and I just hope Nori and Poppy land in some water somewhere, because I can smell them through the screen. Their hair looks like it's rotting off their head. What's next? The Southlands. It's shit. What's left?
When I tell you that we will never truly be safe until we've made certain Sauron is no more.
As you will it, Lord Father.
God damn!
Numenor, the man-tit armor is back, baby. This is their attempt at political intrigue. By having everyone talk loudly of rebellion, Pharazôn is no Littlefinger. If this happened in King's Landing, them bitches would be dead or thrown in the black cells to rot. The people are pissed because the queen got citizens killed in the name of feminist solidarity. The queen was already blind, but now she blind. The girl with the heavies stole the Palantir, and it looks like they opened a plastic surgery guild in Numenor, so at least they got that going for them. Everyone is turning on the weak queen, and Pharazôn seizes the moment when an eagle appears and chaos erupts. This is why you don't allow this shit to fester. This show just doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not classic fantasy of the books or movies, or the grimdark fantasy of Game of Thrones. It fails at both of them. It wants to use all the member berries of the Jackson films without any of the intent. It's the worst example of modern fantasy adaptation where culture and history amounts to nothing. Human nature or evolution doesn't even come into the equation. It's just modern people dealing with modern problems. It's still hilarious to see this thing being certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I only see one of the most realized fantasy worlds in literature reduced to a contemporary Renaissance festival. Everyone getting to choose their own path because this show doesn't understand that those restrictions placed on characters because of gender or class is an opportunity for character building and perseverance. This show suffers from the same symptoms as a show like The Acolyte. Most of the men look like they're one awkward stare away from meat riding. Masculinity has been reserved for the girl boss narcissist. Dialogue sounds like some tweaker poetry with themes that they would rather explain to you instead of showing you through the character's actions. The style, music, and ingenuity is bargain bin recreations of another's successes. It should suffer the same fate as shows like this always suffer. Then we can just move on to the next subpar piece of content these rapacious corporations push out. We will see how long it takes them to learn. I said my piece. Thanks for watching.